All right, I think we're live. All right. Thank you so much for being patient with us today. Again, super excited to have you guys as part of this event. This is our fireside chat with Mr. Danny Green, powered by Cisco WebEx. I'm going to be your host for the next hour. My name is Danny Ree, okay, not to be confused with Danny Green. It's going to be a little bit confusing, but work with it. I'm a manager of our partner management team here at CDW Canada, so we're excited to put this on alongside with Cisco. And we're going to talk about a lot of different things. Nothing's off the table with Danny. He's been open about what he is willing to talk about, and so we'll get right to it here. So a couple things I wanted to tackle for housekeeping. If you want to submit questions, submit it to the right panel of your screen there. That's the best way to kind of do it. It's best if you keep on topic, because then we can kind of go rapid fire into those sequences of questions if you submit it that way. We'll have some video questions. We're going to be playing a game called Keep It or Cut It. So we're going to have a bit of fun here. And so I know the last thing you guys want is to hear me talk about how great WebEx is, but we felt that the best thing to do is to just give you guys a free trial. So after this event, we're going to be sending you guys a link to a free WebEx trial. So it's the best to get your hands on it, use it, and experience it for yourself. And then stick with us to the end, because we're going to be doing a draw for 5 $100 Amazon gift cards. So again, much reason to stick with us through the rest of the hour. So enough from me. Let me make some introductions here. Now, the man I'm about to introduce next, the world knows him as the University of North Carolina alumni, a two-time NBA champion, an avid pet lover. But of course, all of us in Canada know him as the money man from three-point land. We heard that a lot last year. I want to introduce to you guys Danny Green.
How you guys doing? Thank you for the introduction, man. It was a great one.
Thanks for taking the time, and I gotta say a huge thank you and congratulations. I believe are in order. I think you had a massive life achievement in the past few days.
Yes. Thank you. Actually, I did. Just got engaged yesterday, man, last night. So thank you. Yes. But you were spot on with the introduction. Pet lover, girlfriend for now. You know what I'm saying? So just trying to grow up, become an adult one of these days.
Having been through the process, knowing the emotions that come along with proposals, are you now more relieved, or are you now excited to go into the next?
Yeah, more relieved. But we've been together for some time now, so it was for a short time. I've just been saving up to make it right, figure out the right time to do it. So yeah, more relieved, because once you have it, you're trying to figure out how to do it. You get a little nervous. No moment can prepare you for it. But now it's out the way. She's happy. I'm happy. We both knew, we wanted to spend the rest of our lives together. But now it's official, and now we can start planning accordingly. So
awesome. Well, again, congratulations. And for the ladies that are on this chat and have sent in the questions asking for dates and things of that nature, he is off the market. So let's move on from that.
Yeah, I've been off the market for some time now. So
yeah. So again, congratulations.
Thank
so
you.
we're gonna have some fun here, obviously, but I do want to be serious for a minute, because we have obviously a lot to get through. But I want to take some time here to talk about some of the racial tensions that exist in the U.S. and in Canada, and I think a lot of us, if not all of us, sympathize with the nonviolent protests that are happening all throughout the world, really. And Dan, you've been front and center, in front of the community, front lines, out there protesting. And I think from all of us sitting here in our on our couches and just kind of seeing this on the news and trying to take in what we can, what are some of the ways that we can start to help? Like whether it's supporting organizations or just doing things actively in our community.
All the above, man. Using your voice, using your actions, supporting organizations, donating, educating. The biggest thing I think on for us, all people, all races, educate not only their family but their community on how to be better, on what is right, what is fair. That's where it starts. So because our younger generation is the future, but we got to get people out to vote. I wasn't big into politics and on voting. I did vote, but I never really cared to listen or watch the news or understand politics. I was one of those people that just, I don't make the rules, I adapt and adjust to them. But as the rules start to change, where they become very unfair, or things are just um, you know, drastically crazy or so lopsided in a sense. You have to figure out ways to I guess change the system. So it's very important to get out and vote. It's very important, as I said, for us to educate our communities and get the right people in places for certain things to be fair, and so certain things never happen. Certain things should never happen anymore, especially today's age in 2020. We never thought COVID would happen, but that should be the only thing that would be unexpected that should be happening, not the things that we see in the streets that are video recorded, which is unreal to see.
Absolutely. I think there's a lot to be said about the small changes, even, right? Like a lot of us kind of go into this thing think that we're not going to individually make the huge systemic changes just yet, but I think the small changes in the community, whether it's donating, kind of the day-to-days,
For
making sure
sure.
your kids
And
know.
those changes obviously it starts from the top, but those changes are local. Like I said, you got to go out and vote locally. Local governor, mayor, DA, those things starts, as I said, with doing stuff with smaller steps. So it starts with using your voice, using your actions, and doing the small things, the small details.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for being a voice, obviously, being out there, and with that, CDW and Cisco want to be an ally in that fight as well. So we've committed to supporting an organization of your choosing here in the next whenever,
That's
but to
awesome.
help support as much as we can. So
That's awesome. That's
good to
awesome.
get.
And so it's my job. Nothing's necessary for me. It's part of my job to actually have to should be doing this. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to be thanked for this. None of it. We all need to be on the forefront, especially when it's my community that's being affected. And if everything so because we're in a different bracket, tax bracket, that it doesn't affect us. We all have friends and family members that are still in those same tax brackets, are still going through these same experiences that don't have the name of the stardom or on the front page or the front screen where they would recognize. So, and even us, we don't get recognized all the time either. We get pulled over a lot of times and things may go wrong. So it's definitely part of our job, not just to play basketball, but our duty to get back to the community, but also step in when change needs to happen and actually help, to force some change.
Absolutely. Danny, you're just a good guy, man. Like it just seems like you're on the right side of things. So
Thank you.
um, yeah, so I'm happy to support your
I'm okay.
positions
I'm
as well.
okay, guy. Thank you. I think I'm on the right side of things. I would hope so. I'm on the right side of things in my mind, but I'm a
Yeah.
decent guy. I try to be. That's like him when I can.
Yeah, I think that's why so many, Torontonians kind of gravitated to you, right? And there was like a connection there, obviously through the
Canadians are
glass.
amazing, man. They gravitate to everybody. Canadians are amazing.
Yeah, no doubt, for sure. We just passed the anniversary, actually, speaking of, right,
We
of
did.
the NBA championship. Big moment for us as a country and as Raptors fans. So kind of bring us back to last year a little bit. And, you know, during that playoff run, everyone has championship aspirations, but at what point in that run did you really, as a team, start to believe that this is our championship to lose? Like, what was that time?
I mean, from the start of it, we thought we had a great potential and the chance to do so. Obviously, when we were top in the league and we made it through the first series out in Orlando, um, I think we had Philly next. That was a tough series. Once we made it through Philly, we were like, okay, um, we have a pretty good shot now. But we had Milwaukee, which is a tough team as well, down 0-2. But once we went 2-2, we were like, this series and this championship year is ours to lose. We have a fresh start. We know we can beat this team. All we have to do is win two more games, and once we close that out, and once you get there, anything can happen. So you never know. That's what we said in San Antonio, because Miami had the big three. We're like, as long as we get out the West, you get to the finals. You never know what can happen. They may not be 100% healthy. All they do is somebody get hot, and you can win a championship. It doesn't, matter who's the favorite or not. As soon as we got through Milwaukee, we knew we had a chance because once you just get there, we don't know if Golden State was gonna be 100% healthy or not. And we were playing pretty good basketball. We also played them early in the year. We played them well when we played them on the road. So we came in pretty confident. But so once we got through the Milwaukee series, we were like, this is ours. We got to the final stage. Now we got to finish the job.
Absolutely. Um, Now that sets up another question that comes from a couple customers, Zohaib Shahid and Mark DeLeon, who had the kind of same question. And you kind of touched on it a little bit, right? You had experience from San Antonio in a similar situation. And you have the unique experience of winning a title in San Antonio and Toronto. What were the biggest differences between winning in San Antonio and then winning in Toronto last year?
Oh man, there's, I mean, a lot of differences, but the differences, so it was an organization that never really experienced it, a country that never experienced it. Not to say San Antonio is any way, shape, or form spoiled, because their fans were great, they were amazing, and they treated us like gods there, and they acted like every time we won, anytime we won any game, they were amazing, excited for it. But it's a little different when you've never got a chance to experience that stage as a city or win at that stage. San Antonio definitely is a smaller market, and you have most of Texas behind you, but not all of Texas. But when you have a whole country of Canada behind you, I said that's never experienced it before. It's a way different energy. You're creating history at that time. But the fans are very similar. The city is very similar. But our city went really crazy. So the whole country was going crazy. I toured. I was lucky enough to tour throughout Canada after and have my camps and see how crazy it was in other cities of Canada. So that was amazing. I get so much love all over the place. But I said that the biggest difference was that it's a city that in a country that never experienced it versus a city that had experienced it, 3 or 4 times beforehand. So they weren't. I wouldn't say they were spoiled, but it was amazing. The parade was great, but nothing can compare to how it was in Toronto. That parade and those people, because it's a whole country. It's 3 million people. Parade went over, 3 or 4 hours longer than what it should have been. So it's hard to compare that to anything.
Awesome. And you yourself have emerged as a kind of a leader in both organizations, really. I got a question here from one of the panelists. And again, for anyone listening, you can submit your questions through the chat panel on WebEx. So Brian Joseph writes in asking, who is the non-obvious leader in the locker room that the average fan wouldn't be aware about? And it's gonna be San Antonio, Toronto, even LA.
Well, in San Antonio, I was more of I wouldn't say a younger guy. I was more of a middle-aged guy. So we still had Timmy, Tony, Mono. I was still far in the lead. I was one of the older guys, like middle-aged, older guys. We were more experienced. We didn't have that many young guys back then. When I got to Toronto, it was a lot more younger guys. Um, and we had, different leaders through different ways. But the people I guess you would unexpect to be a leader, um, DeJounte Murray was trying to learn how to do that at an early young age. You could see him building it. And I could expect him now to be more of a leader. Like he's learned the point guard position, but I wouldn't say he is a leader, but I can see him becoming one. Um, but in San Antonio, in that locker room, I think Patty Mills was the unexpected leader that everybody would not know about. For sure, Patty. And in Toronto, I think the unexpected leader that most people, people probably expect this, probably Freddie V. Freddie was, damn near the next guy, outside of the vets. He was, as a young guy, I would always think he was an older guy because of the way he acted, the way he carried himself, and how he led. I always considered him a vet, even though he's only, a couple years in at the time, and he's still very young. But the way he carried himself, the way he was professional, the way he led and talked to the guys, he was very much so a big, intricate key point, not just on the floor, but in the locker room of leading our team.
Right. Awesome. So it's not a surprise to you to see what Freddie was doing this year. Obviously, having a great year before COVID happened.
Oh, he's a killer, man. That guy's a killer. Not surprised at all. He was doing well. I was happy for him. It sucks that he always gets injury or hurt. He got injured and it kind of messed up the flow a little bit. But when Kalo was out, he was every time Kalo, he does a damn good job. Took over. It should have been an all-star. So he was having an all-star year up until the injury, and then came back. Still was playing great, but it's tough after you lose that momentum, that flow.
No doubt. So Danny, talk to me about that parade, man. That's obviously a crazy day. We've never been through something like that for.
Yeah, like
for
I said nothing everybody ever experienced. The country never experienced it, and it went over 5 or 6 hours in that heat. And you're drinking, Marcus Gasol is the reason why he was a little, out of character. You're on that bus for that long. But it was amazing, man. That energy is unmatched. There's nothing compared, nothing can ever match that in the history, I don't think, of the league. There'll never be another parade like that. I think we were the staple of what not to do for a parade. You know what I'm saying? Even though it was exciting and great, they'd probably be like, you know what, if any other city wins it that's never won it before and it might get that crazy, they're probably like, it's going to be like Toronto. We probably need to scale back or find a shortcut way to make the parade a little shorter, because our parade was ridiculously amazing. And the fact, but it was so many people that it made it, 3 or 4 hours longer. So I'm not complaining, but I know other teams, if they ever win it, they probably, or the league will probably, we can't have them guys out there for that long,
Yeah.
in the sun drinking like that. So it could be a hazard, but it was fun, man. I enjoyed it. Nothing could ever match it.
I think Mark owes you his like playoff bonus, or I hope he at least paid you something because you saved his career on that one.
No,
I don't know if
I
everyone
think
knows,
I
but
just I saved him some time, but I think he would have got the crowd into it. He might have tried to dive into the crowd. Who knows? I don't think he said anything crazy, but I just don't want to give that opportunity. I didn't want anything to slip up, but I knew he was going to go nuts when he got on the microphone.
for sure. I got a video question here. I think Omar was saying if you're on. I think you had a question for Danny Green. You there?
He just joined the call, Umar.
I think so.
No, I've been listening. Hey guys, how are ya?
Here it is.
Right.
Danny, what an honor. Danny Green in the house. Great to
Pleasure,
meet
man.
you,
Pleasure's
sir.
all mine. Pleasure's all mine.
So my question is, what is the most important thing you have learned from the Raptors organization?
Just that, it doesn't always have to take that much time to get chemistry or to be able to make something special happen. Um, I always knew Canada was great. Canadians were amazing. The staff, the training staff there was unbelievable. It helped me and Kawhi a ton with getting back to our normal selves of rehabbing and strengthening and taking care of ailments. But it's you very rarely see a team come together for 1 year and make some special. I think it happened once in Boston, but usually it takes some time, some years. But if you have the right people in the right places and the right leaders, you can make something special happen within a year. So, I learned a lot of small, intricate details of Canada, of course. I learned, living there was a lot different than visiting. But from the organization, there's another way to do things. Obviously, my first time being outside the Spurs organization, there's another way to do things that, could still be very successful and be fun and more, for the younger, hip crowd. So we had a blast, man. It was a lot of fun. And we were successful with it, even though it wasn't as, in San Antonio, it was more of like a strict, strategic, come to, work, be professional, and take your job serious type of atmosphere. We had that type of atmosphere where we had a little more fun, a little more looser, and then still was able to be, successful.
Awesome. Thanks, Omar. Thanks for the question.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
So Danny, following that the summer hits, and a lot of people could have just went and relaxed and kind of did their own thing and went back home. You decided to take the tour of Canada, as you mentioned before, with your basketball camps, and so I think that has a lot of to do with the reason why us Canadians gravitate to you and what you bring to the organization, what you brought to the organization. What prompted that? Like, there's a lot you talk about how it's easy to kind of get acclimated to Canada because everyone's so friendly. It's kind of an easy thing to do, but not everyone does that. And you really dove in and really made it a proactive responsibility for you to get acclimated and understand the community you played for. What drove that for you?
It started with my dad. So when I was younger, as soon as I got drafted, we started doing camps in New York. So he's instilled that with me, giving back to community. And then eventually, when I was brought to Texas, we kind of wanted to expand that. But I met some people. We finally got the right people in place to actually help me. We were touring Texas. We did all of South Texas, and kids that were less fortunate, able to interact with a Spurs player or a professional athlete. And so we gave me that opportunity. It also gave me an opportunity to explore and see Texas. I love to travel. I love to explore every place that I'm at. So it's a kind of win-win. I get a chance to interact and have fun with the kids and also learn a lot about the city that I'm playing in. So when I got to Toronto, it was a perfect opportunity for me to explore Canada and learn more about it, and actually also give thanks back to those fans who were not able to attend games or be in the city of Toronto that were across the country. So I was able to thank them and show them some love. They also show me love when I go to different cities. So it was a lot of fun, man. It was amazing. But all the starting of giving back to the community with camp started with my dad in my hometown, and I was able to bring it to Texas and Carolina, Chapel Hill, and then eventually to Canada. This year, obviously, unfortunately for COVID, I don't think we'll have camps this summer. We won't have a summer, but we'd have been able to do some in California, and that's the goal. The goal is to try to just, spread as much love as I can to the cities that I'm playing, and also learn and integrate with the fans. And I consider them family. Once I become a part of that organization, so integrate with some of the fans and some of my family members, new family members in that city, and just build a rapport in that city, and feel at home, because no fan wants to root for a guy that just comes in there and wants to be there for work. Mind you, I love the game of basketball. It's not work for me, but I'm not just in the cities that I play in just to be there for the team. I'm there to be a part of the city and also integrate myself in the community.
Oh, definitely, for sure. Um, and then that summer, obviously, like I know that when Kawhi leaves, everyone's a little bit devastated. But then I think that true Raptors fans were equally as devastated when you made your announcement that you were leaving the team because of that, right? Because of the
I mean,
community.
more so off the court than on the court. I mean, obviously they love me on the court, but off the court, I think people love the inside the green. Like the podcast, they treated me well. It was great. People love inside the green room. People love being in the community, the camps. Um, but I don't think they were equally devastated when Kawhi left. I think they were very hurt, and I think me leaving, they were like, damn, But they've still been playing well. They've been a great team. They've been doing amazing, man. And the fans still love and support us, regardless that we're not there anymore. And hopefully we still welcome back there. And every time I'll be back to visit every summer, which I always did before I became a Raptor. But I'll be back as much and often as I can.
Still gotta pick up your ring, right?
For sure, that's a priority. So whenever we get a chance to play in you guys' arena again, that'll be great. But right now, I'm trying to get back to work and focus on trying to win another one.
100%. So Joselito Javier wrote in a question here. Just he wants to know what you missed about Toronto the most.
Oh man, I'm not gonna say because I did miss the snow for a minute before I got there because I hadn't lived in a cold place in years. I moved to Carolina and I moved to Texas. I was there for 7 years, so we did a snow vacation actually. Me and my girlfriend did so a couple years ago, and then once we moved to Toronto, we're like, now I think we're good on the snow. So definitely enjoying the weather here in California, but I do miss the people. I do miss the energy, the fans for sure playing in that arena. So that's probably most. And the camp tour was amazing, man. I had so much fun. If I had the time, I would love to tour every city. I would love to go back to Canada and Texas and do California and still have a summer. But if I did all three of those, I would have no summer at all. I'd just be doing camp tours. But just missing the people, man, the energy that Canada brings, every day. It's a great atmosphere to be in.
Absolutely. So it was well documented that you'd said that if Kawhi was come back, you'd love to come back and try to repeat again. And Mohammed Hussein kind of has a question here, just talking about did you guys ever really talk about that after the season with the old teammates, just saying we'd love to run it back, or was that just kind of a Kawhi based decision?
I mean, when the season's over, you're just like, man, especially when you go that far in the playoffs and it ends in June. You just want to enjoy and celebrate at that point. So we're just enjoying and celebrating. We're going to talk about next year, this, that, and other. Obviously, free agency came up, a couple weeks later, like very soon, end of June, July 1, free agency happens. So it has to be discussed, but we never discussed it individually. But I think it was understanding, like it was a Kawhi decision to see if he comes back, then you try to bring everyone else back. But once you figure out the details, the ins and outs of everything, we knew that wasn't possible. So whether Kawhi came back or not, it probably wasn't very, going to happen for me because they just didn't have cap space. They were only going to cap space for him, which is understandable,
We have GoFundMe up here in Canada, Danny. We would have helped you out.
I was thinking about doing the Bitcoin thing that what's the name did, but I don't think that'll work out for me up there in Canada. But yeah, so once he left, even if he was coming back, it would have been tough for me to come back. But it would have been great to bring everyone back. We knew we had a good squad, but he left, and so I'm not saying it made my decision easier, but it helped make a lot of other people's decision easier, other teams anyway. And once he left, it was like it's tough for them, or tough for us to just come back and be contender, even though they couldn't afford to bring us both back anyway. But they still are a contender with us both gone, so which is crazy. Nick Nurse has done an unbelievable job. That coach staff, unbelievable job, and those players, championship DNA and a championship pedigree. So they've grown a ton. Those young guys, they know how to win games. So it'll be interesting to see how well they do in the playoffs. I'm looking forward to it. And you never know, might meet them in the finals if we do well enough and stay healthy.
Yeah, that'd be a bit of a trip, man.
Yeah.
You're right. Cool. Just a reminder to everyone attending that's showing up a little bit late, you can submit questions using the chat function, the Q&A function on the right panel of your WebEx board. So please keep them coming in and try to keep on topic, because in that way it's easy for me to ask Danny the questions you're looking for. So Danny, we're going to jump into a bit of a game. We're going to call.
Okay, let's do it.
keep it or cut it. All right.
Keep it.
So
Okay.
yeah, so you're keeping it or you're cutting it. Some are
Yes.
obvious, but we're gonna start off. So you're gonna make a decision whether you're gonna cut it from your life or not. So we're gonna start off with bagged milk.
I would say cut it.
And that's not as an aggressive no as I thought I was gonna get.
I've been warmed up to it over the time, and I understand it. I say I don't hate it. I just don't think it's as efficient as the gallon. So, yeah, and I cut it, not literally cut it, but cut, not cut the bag milk and keep it. We're gonna cut that out and go regular milk.
Yeah, our sales director actually, Isaac Lynn, it's an Ontario thing because out West Coast and BC.
And I understand it. I understand it, so I've appreciated more understanding it, but I'm still gonna say we're gonna cut it.
He's with you on that one. So the second one is going to be the Canada version of A1 steak sauce.
Cut it. Cut it. I mean, I feel like every steakhouse that I go into, they never have A1. They always have their own house steakhouse or some other steak sauce or some other steak sauce. They're like, it's close to A1. I'm like, no, it's not A1 steak sauce. But A1 is fine. Now, the A1 that you guys have there, is that what you're talking about? The A1 steak sauce you guys have there?
It's a different kind of sauce. Like everyone says that the A1 Canadian version of the A1 sauce is different from the US version.
It's a little different, but it's not too bad. So I'll keep that. But all those steak sauces from every other steakhouse, we gotta cut that. We gotta get A1 in every steakhouse out there.
All right. For those of you that don't know, Danny is an avid fan of the A1 steak sauce brand. So just if you've ever seen him in a steakhouse and he's not happy, feel free to drop off a bottle. Get him covered. We got you covered, Danny.
Appreciate it.
So the next one I got for you is it's more of like you have to choose one and cut one. So the two options are Serge Ibaka's scarf game, OG's scarf game.
I'm gonna keep OG scarf game and cut Serge's. I'm gonna keep OG. OG is my guy. I think his scarf game might be a little more diverse or interesting. I know Serge does art, but it's not always scarves. But it's always interesting to see what OG is gonna wear every day, especially with his scarf. So I'm gonna keep OG.
I like that.
Sorry,
by the way,
sorry. Still my guy Serge, but I gotta keep OG.
Yeah. By the way, Les Blackwell writes in and says the only steak sauce is HP. I don't know if you tried HP sauce, but
that's the one. Yeah, no, it's not. Not A1.
I'm with you. It's not the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now the next one is Serge Ibaka related. Cut it or keep it. Dinner at Serge's place at Mafuzi Chef's crib.
I'll keep it. That's my guy. So, I got to give Serge one of them. I can't cut him from the other one and not keep him on this one. So I'm gonna keep it. And Serge, he's expanded his horizons quite a bit of cooking and doing other things in fashion. So I'm all for it. I like that he's letting the people in on learning who he is.
He was easy on you though too, right? Didn't give you the.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad at all. I didn't have to do nothing crazy. I just had a little pig's head actually, but
That's all right. And the last one I got for you is, and there's a background story behind this, Fred VanVleet or Pascal Siakam. And the reason why I bring that up, for people that don't know, Pascal and Fred had this little banter going back and forth on Instagram Live about kind of giving you the gears about posting up JJ Redick in the playoffs last year. So I figured this is an opportunity for you to
cut it and keep which one, like the story? Keep one.
It doesn't, from.
That's a tough one. That's a tough one, man. Those are my guys. I can't cut. They're both like the same to me. Those are my brothers. I was just talking to Fred today. He just texted me, Pascal reached out. They both said congrats. Man, I can't cut either one of them. I'm keeping both of those.
I was digging a little bit, but I get it. All right. So for the next question, we're going to go to another video question to Imran Kassam. Imran, if you're there, we'll welcome you to the call.
Just joined in. There you go, Imran.
Hey, thanks for having us. I got a couple extra fans here with me as well. But
nice.
My question is related to COVID and what you and the Lakers organization are looking at technology-wise to help you guys train together, as well as get ready for a playoff run, or how are you guys using technology to bring you guys together?
Technology-wise, working out together. Is more so we could use it, but it wouldn't make sense to actually all of us work out on the same call technology. But we have had strength and conditioning coaches FaceTime us or, give us some instruction on how to do certain workouts when we're doing a lift. So in our houses, they sent us some dumbbells, some workouts, some weights, workout gear, some stretch bands, and we'll do some on calls with them. But now our facility's been open, so our technology, we don't need to use that anymore. We just go to the facility. We work out in different parts of the weight room, different parts of the court. But we do keep in communication with talking via text and seeing what guys can work out what days and seeing who needs what, and then possibly, hopefully, in this near future, get some group together, some group, workouts, some up and down playing, 2-on-2, 3-on-3, maybe some 5-on-5 at some point. But as of right now, we're just doing some individual stuff and just keeping in contact mostly.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Anytime.
Thanks for the question, Imran. Yeah, speaking of the upcoming season, or not even upcoming season, finishing the upcoming season, I guess you can call it. How are you feeling about the new format?
I'm just happy that we got something done. You know what I'm saying? I think most guys are just happy to get something in place that we're not guessing like, oh, the season canceled or not. Well, we've been in quarantine for 3 months now, and just like, yo, are we gonna play? We're gonna have a season. I don't think the format mattered. I think it's gonna be fun and interesting for the fans. I think it's gonna be weird for us to have no fans there and being in a bubble. But it's a circumstance that has to come. The precautions we need to take to be safe. So I'm easy, man. I'm simple. As long as I can, get back to work, give myself a chance to win a championship, I'll do whatever it takes.
Absolutely. Aiden George has a kind of an add-on to the question that Imran had about just trying to stay in shape and what you're doing, and even in the early stages, like how do you find the motivation and I know you have the season to play for, but sometimes people can sit down and just sit on the couch and just wait for this to pass. But you've been continuing to stay and do the conditioning and strength conditioning.
For sure.
Where do you find that motivation?
It's something you gotta self-motivation. You gotta find that. Some guys have sat down. I mean, not saying all guys, most guys on this level, if you've been in the league long enough, they know how their body works. And if you gain a lot of weight, or if you lose a lot of weight in a certain amount of time, or if your body stays pretty solid and you don't get out of shape too badly, you probably can take more time off. But every guy understands, being a professional, if you want to keep yourself in this league, you better be on top of it and make sure your body's healthy and right. And so this just takes upon self-motivation. And also, it helps when you have a group that has a chance to win, and that is great. You want to let your group down, you want to let your team down, and you want to be, when things happen to resume, you want to be still in great shape to that we can still win a championship, and nobody's letting us down and keeping us, holding us back from doing that. So with that standard, it also comes with motivation, but you have to have that within yourself to want to get up off the couch and actually get your body back in shape. Make sure you keep your job, or keep yourself, be able a chance to do some special things when things start back up again.
Sure. And we talked about the how exciting it would be if the Lakers matched up with the Raptors in the finals. If that happens, Aiden also wants to know, who are you checking in that series? Who are you looking forward to checking in that series if you end up matching with the Raptors?
I mean, it'll be a fun series regardless. Just match up in any one of them. I'm guarding 1 through 4 or 5, no, not 5. Mark obviously is too big of a guy to guard for me, but all those guys I'm sure I'll switch on to. It's a lot of fun competing with them. From Kalo to Fred to Pascal to Norm, even OG. OG's my guy, but playing against all those guys will be a fun matchup. But it'll be weird. Like the first time playing, it'll be a little weird, but I'm sure I'll get used to it, and I'll be able to give my team some of the ins and outs of whose weaknesses and strengths are, so we can have a little advantage.
For sure. And if you get matched up with Fred VanVleet, if you don't post them up, we are having a talk here, Danny.
Unfortunately, my team doesn't run post plays for me anymore. Back then, so we had different matches. We'd run some post plays, but unfortunately, my team doesn't run post plays for me here. I don't need to. We have 2 guys. We have a lot of guys that post up, so I just stay spaced on the floor and set screens.
Sure, no doubt.
But yeah, if I do get one of those guys, especially Kalo's tough to post up. He's great with his lower body. He knows how to push people out and get in their head. But should all those guys, I would love to have that opportunity to have a one-on-one post-up matchup, just to show them that I'm decently worthy.
Awesome. Okay, so we're gonna actually pivot to a little competition we have. We actually sent out to our customers If you have kids at home, submit a picture, Raptors related, championship related, even Danny Green related. And we had one entrant, so he wins. But I thought it was worth presenting
Okay.
to the group. But I'm gonna show you now.
Okay.
Well, let me just.
Okay, we got the welcome.
Gotcha. There we go. This is from Aryan Ball, who took the time to take this picture of you. He's 11 years old, so quite the
Nice.
talent.
That's dope. Wow. Ariane Ball, age 11, man. That's amazing. I
I
was
think,
telling you guys earlier at 11, I don't think I could color between lines, let alone draw a picture. It looks that good, man. That looks really much like me. Got the hair, got the little goatee. It's a nice picture, man. Ariane, thank you. That's amazing. Congratulations on winning,
yeah,
because you're the
Aryan.
one who got entered, right?
Yeah, Aryan, we got a Danny Green jersey on its way over to you. So thanks for submitting that and spending the time. We really appreciate it. So congratulations again.
Yeah, congrats.
Right. So we're going to transition a little bit into kind of a business discussion, and not maybe the way that you're thinking, but for us, I think that like your career and what you've you know how you've established your career and what you've gone through in your career, kind of there's some parallels to like what the average worker might have gone through, right? You didn't have this superstardom and just had were the main focus for the last few years of your career. It was like you came in, it was a grind, right? Late
Yes.
draft pick, but then you came in, got sent to the D League, had to grind down there, then found a place for yourself. What what did you use as your anchor back then, and what kind of kept you motivated through those times?
Um, I mean, everybody has had to grind, man. They had to go through some crazy ups and downs. Not as many as others. Mine was a little wild. But the motivation was, getting back and just seeing my friends and teammates being in a place where I felt like I deserved to be or I belonged. And also the critics, people saying that I can't do what I can't do, what I couldn't be. So those always motivated me and pushed me, to prove them wrong. But also said just motivated to be where, my teammates and said my peers were at. And some of those people that I thought I were better than, or some of those people I thought I was just as good as. So it was many things that kept me motivated. My family was the greatest foundation of keeping me encouraged and confident. But those things were things that motivated me.
Oh, definitely. And then also kind of going back to when every NBA player was a superstar at some point, right? And whether it was high school for you, um, sometimes people, as they make the transition to in college or the NBA, they have a challenge in accepting like a new role, right? When you're the man on a team and then having to take a new role, I think that for us in the corporate world, for us to accept our role is one of those things that is a life skill that we need to learn. For you, what was that process like? And what was that transition like from being the man, whether that was at the University of North Carolina, then to go through the challenges you had to define your niche?
Well, luckily and unluckily, I was never the man. um, so I was probably the man in high school was about it. But fortunately for me, not being the man in college and from there on out, was I was able to adjust quicker and better to understanding how to be, a role player or to adapt to different situations. So from even when I was in high school, when I first came in, I wasn't the man. I had to adapt to playing for a coach that wanted perfection and maybe not. I started. It didn't start right away, but not being the man on that team, working my way up to be the man. He never gave me the keys and said, "Oh, Joe, mind you, we had a great team, full of great players." So it wasn't like I was taking all the shots. To come in Carolina, no one's the man there when they first come in, unless you're like Tyler Hansbrough, #1 kid in the country. But we had so many McDonald's Americans coming in at that point, and years to come. The class after us was even stronger. So going from playing a little minutes and not playing at all, and then being on the bench my whole career damn near at Carolina, and then finally starting my senior year, it took to my senior year to start. I was able to adapt and just coming off the bench, adapt and just being a role player, not being the man, and understanding how to evolve around the other guys that were the man, and playing with them. And then also in San Antonio, being a professional, learning how to operate with the other guys that were the man, It allowed me to have that self-awareness and to adapt, to adjust quicker, to being okay with and being understanding it's okay to be successful, not and being a role player. You can be a star role player. So you'll be more successful once you accept it, appreciate it, and just try to perfect being good at those things. You can do very well in any league or in any part of or fashion of the world. So realizing that and having that aspect early on in life helped me to adapt and adjust to it.
Sure. Um, and so you, throughout the career, as you went throughout, San Antonio, Toronto, LA, again, the inspiration for our next question comes from, again, from Les Blackwell. And for those of you just joining in and from us, you can ask questions of Danny in the panel on the right under the Q&A, submit it that way. And again, if you keep on topic, we can just fire off these questions over to Danny. You have a unique perspective on leadership because I think you've played with some of the best leaders that the game's ever known. And
For
Tim
sure.
Duncan, Kawhi Leonard, even now LeBron James. Maybe kind of go through, especially like, Tim Duncan, who is a kind of the strong silent type, or at least that's what it appeared to be, to LeBron that seems a little bit more vocal. What's the commonality in their leadership styles that really makes them what they are, that brings them into a kind of that leadership voice?
They're very similar in the aspect that they take their work serious. When it comes down to work, they're the first ones in the gym. They lead by example more than anything, more than the vocal. So it's easy to follow their word when they're doing everything and more. They're not going to ask you to do something that they couldn't do themselves or ask you to do more than what they could do. You know what I'm saying? They're going to encourage you and want you to be great. But all the little things that they do or ask you to do is not something they haven't done. They put in the hours in, they're taking care of the body. But also, when it comes down to game time, they're breaking down film, they're talking you through certain things. You're asking for the differences in them? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, I was going to actually get into the differences as well.
Well, the similarities is that and Timmy talked more than people thought he did. Timmy was a great vocal leader. And I think the main similarities is that they were great, but they were humbly great. And they didn't carry themselves so I think that they were better than anybody else on the team or better than you. They encouraged you to do well, to just shoot the ball, and then they treated you like one of their equals when they're probably the greatest of all time at their position, which is I guess great to see and great to be around that energy, and it makes it easier to play with, and it makes it easier for you to be confident and encouraged to play well with them and want to play with them. But the difference is that obviously they play different positions. I always had Timmy behind me to help me at the rim protection. Bron's more of a point guard facilitator, even though Timmy was a great passer, underrated passer, great screener. And I said, Bron's, the only difference is that Timmy probably showed less emotion on the court than Bron does. Outside of that, they both do the same thing. And Bron's probably more of a goofball, when it comes to having fun and being off the court and in practice doing silly stuff. But so when it comes down to work, though, he's there and he's on top of it before anybody else. They're early, leaving later. So they're the best in the game at doing all those things. Kawhi too, all those guys that have played, all the greats.
Awesome. And I think that the question we got probably the most through the chat, as well as before when people registered for this event, was what's it like playing with LeBron? Because Tim Duncan has been successful, has won his championships, but he wasn't the global icon that LeBron is. Like, what's that experience like?
Say that first part again.
So what is it like to play with LeBron?
I mean, everybody asks that. It's fun, man. It's a lot of fun. I can't say anything short of it. In every way of aspect of describing fun, that's what it is. Mind you, at times, people see. Some people say it's not easy. Some people say it's more pressure, but I don't see it that way. I think he does a great job of making the game easy for us, for everyone around him, and making the game fun at the end of the day. And he knows there's things that are bigger than basketball, and he understands people have family, that are grown men and kids and things like that nature, and he treats everyone very well as a friend. So you can't ask for more from a superstar athlete than what he does for his group on and off the court. So playing with him, it's been a lot of fun. It's been amazing, and it's been like a brotherhood that we all love to be around and be in.
Definitely. And Dawood Ahmed writes in, are you able to contrast and compare the differences in playing with LeBron and playing with Kawhi?
The differences? Oh, I said just more vocal. Bron is more expressive. Same with Timmy. Kawhi and Timmy are very similar in the fact that they don't really express emotions as much. I mean, obviously Kawhi now as he's gotten older, but you just play and handle the business without expressing much emotion. Bron more emotion, get more of his emotions into the game, and more vocal. Timmy is vocal. They're all very high IQ players. Bron does a lot of talking guys and putting guys in certain places because he's a point guard. Kawhi wasn't that, and neither was Timmy. But outside that, so they just the show of emotion, expressing themselves, was the difference.
Sure. And Julian Jasnewski here writes in, and he's going to put you on the spot here, Danny, but he's asking you who the GOAT is. Who is the GOAT?
I mean, I feel like there's GOATs of different eras and different times. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't just say, oh, the greatest of all time. There's so many guys that you can put in different categories that have so many rings. Bill Russell, Kareem. Obviously, my GOAT was Mike, because growing up, he was this all-world hero, and he was the best of his time. And it's hard for me to crown somebody the GOAT that I've played with, because I'm biased. I see these guys, I play with them, and they're a little tainted. I've seen some of their mistakes. I see their weaknesses. Mike, growing up, had no weaknesses. He was God. Now, watching it back now, I see some of his weaknesses in Michael Jordan. But, back then, it said he didn't have any. He don't have many. None of them have many weaknesses. But it said you never saw, I guess, the bad plays, or never saw, certain things of aspects of his game, or the locker room talk, or how he acted publicly. But we didn't have no social media back then. But so my GOAT was Mike. I didn't get a chance to watch Kareem like that, or Bill Russell. I've seen some highlights, and obviously Bron, I think of this era is the GOAT of this era, and you can appreciate that. And I think there was a time where Cole was the GOAT of a certain era. Certain eras of guys that go. Shaq dominated for a certain era. There's so many different guys. Timmy, I think, is the greatest of all time at his position. He dominated for an era. So it's hard to just pick one person and say that they're the GOAT. I think there's many different GOATs for different eras, different times, different positions.
So you obviously caught a little bit of all the Last Dance documentary, and you have, again, a lot of unique experiences in your life, and having attended the UNC and having that tie there. Is there a Michael Jordan story you can share with us that maybe we haven't heard, or maybe most of us don't know?
No, I said I was a lot younger. I've heard some stories. They've all been put out now since it's a documentary. I knew he was a gambler. He would gamble with a lot of the guys when he came back. Kind of under his hip thing, bet on half-court shots here and there, bet on this. But outside of that, I only bumped into him, met him a couple times. I've seen him, shook hands, showed love a couple times. Never got a chance to hang out. I'm not a gambler myself, so I never hung out in those circles. But nothing that comes to mind that the public hasn't already heard or know. Everything that you hear about Mike, everything is out there pretty much now. Everybody's been talking about him, known him for 50's been out for 40, 50 years now. People have been talking about him. So
right. And we kind of spent the last little bit talking about a lot of great leaders, and MJ kind of fits in that category as well. LeBron, Tim Duncan, and with a lot of the people on this call, they'll have teams that they manage, and they have to build a culture that is, one, fun to be around, but also know when it's time to get down to work. Can you talk a little bit about the importance of culture, whether it was on the Raptors team last year, or your San Antonio days, or even this year with the Lakers? Speak about the importance of culture, and then what makes a great culture in your eyes?
very important, because without that, you don't have chemistry, you don't have the bond. And if you don't have the chemistry to bond, you can't win. You can't be successful if your group is not together on the same page or seeing the bigger picture. So building an environment or a culture where people feel comfortable to be themselves, and where people can actually interact and be friendly and be, call each other family. And when you're able to be comfortable, then you're able to learn people's personalities, to learn their strengths and weaknesses, or about their lifestyle, their background, be able to talk about uncomfortable things with each other and actually build a relationship. But if you don't have that culture, or if you don't have that atmosphere, it's going to be very tense and tough for guys actually have that type of bond, or that type of field, court communication on the field, court, wherever it may be. So building, like I said, building an atmosphere and having a culture that is, that type of for your group that is able for guys to feel comfortable and people to feel free and like a family is very important. As I said, if you don't have it, then it is tough to be successful with that without it.
Awesome. And then finally, Bill Grocott writes in, who was your biggest influence growing up?
My dad, he's the one that put the ball in my hand, and he was obviously the biggest basketball fan, Michael Jordan fan, and I wanted to be like all these players that he was a fan of, but he was the one that coached me at a young age, coached me, and he always coached and criticized me till this day, still does. He's my number one fan, my number one coach, my number one critic. But then I learned from my other coaches as well. But he's the one that influenced me into loving, picking up the game and loving the game of basketball and wanting to be great.
Awesome. Now we are going to go to another video question to Dr. Jihad Abouali. Jihad, if you're listening, you're on with Danny Green.
Yeah, I'm here. You guys, can you hear me?
Yep.
Hey, Danny, it's a pleasure to talk to you. Congrats again on being a two-time world champion. We miss you a lot in Toronto.
Okay.
My question.
Miss you guys too, man. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think seeing you guys get back to action is gonna lift everyone's spirits. It'd be a nice distraction from the pandemic that we're still in.
Yeah.
But it's certainly not over. So I was just wondering if you have any questions or if you have any, words of encouragement for the frontline healthcare workers here in Toronto and the rest of Canada, just, as we keep battling this pandemic.
For sure. They're so intricate and important in this process. I just want to let them know how much I appreciate them. We all appreciate them and love them for being on the front lines and giving up their risking their health and their family, to take care of others. So I know times have been rough. It's been wild, and those for all the workers throughout the world, but especially in Canada, who we're talking to right now. Continue to stay positive, continue to stay encouraged, push through, fight through. You guys are fighting for a bigger cause, and so we love it. We appreciate it. We can't thank you enough. Your efforts do not go unnoticed for saving. You guys are the real heroes of the country and of the world. So we really appreciate you. We're almost home. We see the light at the end of the tunnel, and we need you guys to continue to be the avengers for us to make sure that we survive this. So thank you guys, and continue to stay positive and push forward.
Thanks, Danny. That means a lot.
For sure.
Thanks, Dr. Abouali. I know that just to give it a shout out to Dr. Abouali as well, he was instrumental in CDW and Cisco providing over 500 meals to the frontline coworkers in the past couple of months. So at the Michael Garron Hospital. So we're trying to make a difference in the community as well and doing those things. So again, thank you for being the bridge to making that possible. So with that being said, we have a couple of questions that are written in here. The first one comes from Corey Kelly, who are asking, how are Gizmo and Nuke?
They're doing great, actually. They're loving the quarantine. They're very spoiled. They've been up under myself and my fiance now this whole time. They're very spoiled.
Awesome. Jeff Cox is wondering who the hardest player to guard in the NBA is.
It's different years, but they're all the All-Stars are very hard to guard. And I think for me, it was at one point it was always KD, 7 feet. Knows how to use his body, can shoot it, but all those guys are tough to guard. Kyrie Irving, LeBron James, Kawhi Leonard, who I have to play against now, Pascal Siakam. All these guys are tough guys to play against. But for me, I always hated having to put on my track shoes and chase guys like Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Kyle Korver, JJ Redick over big body screens all night. So those were the guys that were annoying to me that I had to chase all the time.
No doubt, for sure. And I gotta give a shout out to Max Gratchik here, who's been flooding the question box with wondering what it was like growing up and how much training were you involved in your youth, in your teenage years in basketball? Was it 8 hours a day? Was it like crazy, or
when I was younger, we played until streetlights came on, but I didn't start taking it serious till about teenage years, about 12, 13. But we would play all day in the parks at home, and until I would work out at least 2 or 3 hours a day with a trainer. Probably around my teenage years, I had a trainer. We would get in 500 shots a day or some type of dribbling work. So we get at least an hour working, an hour in weights. So we get at least between 2 to 4 hours of working out. when I was that age, when I was younger. Sorry about that.
No, that's all good. And you were a multi-sport athlete too, right? It wasn't
Yeah, I
like you
played
specialized in
football.
basketball.
Played football as a quarterback when I was younger. So
Nice.
yeah, I did a lot of weight workouts for the football and foot agility, especially growing into my body. I had to figure out how to re-coordinate myself. When you start growing, you get taller. Your body, your coordination gets off a little bit, so you have to get your foot speed back, your speed back, your agility. So that's the biggest thing. That's why people think, oh, you're 7 foot, you should be able to do this. And as you get old, you get taller, bigger. It's harder. But your body, you have to learn how to, train your body to coordinate itself better.
Awesome. And Alan Shum writes in asking, what is your usual game day routine prior to tip-off?
Depends if we have shoot around or not. I usually get up, go to shoot around. We'll go over the team stuff, stretch, get some cold stuff in maybe, eat breakfast, go home, take a nap, get up, get dressed to head to the arena. Get to the arena about 2 hours beforehand, before tip-off. Get there to listen to some music, eat a meal, get changed, usually stretch, get some treatment, get on the court, get some shots up, get a little loose, see how I feel, and then, listen to music while I'm in the locker room with my team. And then we do our team prayer, run out to the court, do our layup lines, and then get loose, get ready.
Awesome. There's Cliff Lee writes in about the engagement. So anyone that just joined us a little bit late missed the breaking news. I know that was out there before, but we're going to pretend that he broke it on the CDW Cisco WebEx chat. But Danny Green newly engaged. So again, congratulations to Danny. The question is, I guess he's newly engaged, or he's asking, how did you do it? How long did you plan it? And who captured the moment for you?
Actually, my producer of Inside the Green Room, Abjad Osman, he was there to help me capture the moment. And also another friend, Scotty, they helped with getting some content. She didn't want to do a big thing and draw attention of a lot of people. I've been planning it for a little while. Was gonna do it different times, but said I got word from her friends that she didn't want to do it like it would be a distraction to the team, to the season, or do in front of all her friends and family and people. She wanted to kind of just be private. So I've been planning it for a little while now, probably about 6 months or so at least, maybe even longer. But I did it here. We drove up to Santa Barbara, close to Santa Barbara, in a different city. We went to Ventura, Surface Point. It's a beach over that way. It's close to Santa Barbara. It was Ojai, whatever. It's a city close in California. But went there. We were there for the weekend, just chilling out, and just went to Surface Point. It was like a beach where there's not a lot of people, so I was able to do it with nobody around.
For sure. Danny, you've been extremely gracious with your time, so thank you for spending the time with the chat.
Man. Thank you.
The last thing that I'm just going to ask you for is there's a young lady that's actually listening in who's battling with cancer, acute myeloid leukemia. Emmy Kim is her name.
Yes.
And so she's been battling. Big Raptors fan, so I just wanted to see if you could say hello and I wish her luck in her treatment.
For sure, of course. Emmy, Danny Green here. Just want to let you know, we're here with you. We're here to support you. Keep fighting the good fight. Stay strong. It's tough times right now. Enjoy your loved ones the best you can. But you're a warrior, and you're our hero. So continue to be that warrior. Continue to be that hero. Fight for us. Fight for yourself. Fight for your parents and loved ones around you. So as I said, we're wishing you the best health to come, and so hopefully things will get back to normal soon. But keep staying positive, stay encouraged, and let us know what we can do for you. We're here for you.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Danny. Great guy, Danny Green, everybody. Thank you so much for your time. And
Thank you.
Good luck for the rest of the season. Hope to see you in the finals.
For sure. Thank you. Take it easy.
All right, everyone. Well, that was pretty awesome. We thank Danny and his group and his team for giving us this time. Just a wonderful hour, and she's extremely gracious for giving us this time. And thank you for everyone for submitting your questions. Just a great event all around. And we still have some prizes to give away. But as a reminder, we are going to send you free WebEx trials via email in the next little bit. So be on the lookout for that. Test it out. That's all we ask. Is that you just give it a shot and trial it out for you and your teams. With that said, we did the draw for the 5 $100 Amazon gift cards, and that will go to Daniel Mamo, Josie Duchesne, Sharon Horst, Claudio Testa, and Hemant Chauhan. So we will be in touch with you shortly, and congratulations on the prize. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the hour with Danny Green. Thank you for giving us this time, and we will see you all soon. Thanks.